What is going on, Cardano community? Welcome back to the official DApp Central YouTube channel. As a part of today's video, I've got an interesting guest who's going to be talking to us about an up-and-coming DAO platform being built on Cardano, and that is going to be Logan Pancho. Logan, good morning. How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I am doing great, enjoying my Saturday morning so far. I'm excited to have you on and talk a little bit about Clarity DAO.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Not a problem. Not a problem. It's my pleasure. Now, if it's your guys' first time hearing about the Clarity DAO, they're going to be a decentralized autonomous organization platform being built on Cardano. And before we jump into all the content surrounding how this platform works and what Logan and his team have built so far, I just want to give you guys a brief heads up as to what we're going to be chatting about as a part of this video. So first things first, we're going to get a personal introduction from the man himself, and he's also going to give us a brief overview of the protocol and exactly how it functions. After that, we're going to talk about some of their partnerships, which include a partnership with Genius X, M Labs, and Project Catalyst, and exactly what that means for the future sight and vision of this platform. And then we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit about their 2023 roadmap and some of their accomplishments, and when we can look forward to seeing this platform live on the testnet, mainnet, and the NFT integration that they'll be making as a part of their platform. Now, in closing, we're going to get a brief demo of Crystal as well as their core DAO infrastructure, and then we're going to get some closing thoughts from Logan himself. Logan, how does that sound to you?
Sounds like a plan, man. Let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So first things first, let's get a little bit of your background, and if you don't mind explaining to us what the Clarity DAO is and what you guys are aiming to bring to Cardano.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about me first, just kind of a brief introduction. Let's see where to start. I suppose to start, I am a recent graduate at Stanford University. The thing I studied there was science, technology, and society with a concentration in innovation and organization. So pretty much that's just a fancy way to say during my kind of college educational career, I studied technology that has been invented in the past and innovations of the past and how when they came to fruition, how they affected society. And really, it led me to discover blockchain eventually. And this is kind of how I caught the blockchain bug and I started diving in. And really, one thing led to another, started researching different blockchains, kind of knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur in the space, and thought it was really important to have non-technical solutions so that people could do things on top of these decentralized databases or blockchains. So that's how I got into the space. Really, it's a side effect of what I studied. I actually really came to blockchain in a public policy class where I was like, wow, why shouldn't all health data be anonymized and stored on a public database where anyone can get access to it? And there's bigger pools of data for AI algorithms to go over. So that's where I started. And then, found Cardano. Me and my co-founder, Justin, we started building just templatized contracts. So just a simple escrow contract where you wouldn't have to code to deploy it. And then one thing led to another. Weren't seeing enough traction with kind of the first product we were building out. So we took a step back and looked at the ecosystem. And one thing we saw was that there's a lot of different communities and a lot of different projects within Cardano that wanted governance infrastructure, but weren't able to implement it easily because it's a technical and expensive process to start a DAO. So that's the problem we identified, and that led us to creating Clarity. And really what Clarity is, it's a product suite of different tools that decentralized communities can use to make decisions together, refine decisions together, execute decisions together with automatically enforced proposals on chain. So that's pretty much a high level of who I am and what Clarity is. And I'm happy to expand on anything if you think there's anything to double click on.
That was a really good intro. Nothing to double click on just yet, but as we kind of dive into the actual framework and what you guys are diving into, I'm definitely going to have some questions that pop up. Your background is quite interesting. I didn't realize you graduated from Stanford. I know that's a very reputable institution, so that's really cool to hear. Now, moving into Clarity DAO, right? You guys are partnered up with Genius X, which is going to be an accelerator program. And they actually just announced very recently that they're going to be using their accelerator program to kind of reach out outside of the Cardano ecosystem, which I was very excited to hear about. So they're going to be working with projects, on Ethereum and all these other different L2 layer solutions. But if you guys haven't heard of Genius X, they're a pretty reputable platform. So you guys have an awesome partnership with them. You guys also have a partnership with M Labs, which I believe is going to be a development team helping different platforms across the Cardano ecosystem. And then very last, you guys also have some funding, I believe, or a partnership with Project Catalyst, which helps out some of these startups and up and coming promising projects on Cardano. So do you mind explaining to us, how those came to be and exactly how each one of those particular partners are able to drive your mission forward?
Yeah, I'll kind of start in chronological order of when the partnerships happen. So first came Project Catalyst, and there's no official paperwork we have signed with Project Catalyst or anything like that, but we really see it as kind of a home for the Cardano community, and we often have breakout rooms there. We've been able to bootstrap ourselves to this point through Catalyst funding, so we really consider that decentralized funding mechanism a partnership to us. And through Project Catalyst is actually how we met M Labs. So I would say one of the most important kind of moments in Clarity's history is the first time we kind of got on a call with Ben and Mark from M Labs. So me and Justin, we're co-founders of Clear Contracts, and then Ben and Mark are kind of co-founders of M Labs. And we got on a call with them because we had a very similar Catalyst proposal, and I think it was Fund 7. And what the Catalyst proposal was pretty much wanting to make like something like Aragon on Cardano. And we got to talking, and essentially what happened is we decided to start Clarity as a joint venture where M Labs could help out with the technical side of things and Clear Contracts could help out with the business development and client adoption and biz dev side of things. So that's how that partnership happened. So really, by coming together, we just made our teams a lot stronger. So now we have a few different full-time employees from M Labs. We also have actually a team of 8 developers now, which is pretty cool. So we're building as fast as we can and as much as we can and building diligently in this bear market. And then fast forward to the Genius X partnership that happened, a few months after we made a partnership with M Labs to build this. And really what our Genius Yield and Genius X partnership is that they're going to be using the Clarity infrastructure and Clarity products to operate their DAO. That's part of it. And the other part of it is kind of a business relationship. So we help each other co-market on social medias. If there's a project within their accelerator program that wants to become a DAO, they refer them to us and we can help them out to, in the DAOification process. So yeah, we're very close with Genius. We're also working on some really cool like custom DAO infrastructure with them. As you know, they're a DEX and a Launchpad. So there's a lot of really cool technical collaborations going on with Genius Yield behind the scenes. And we work with a lot of different players in the Cardano ecosystem so that we can try to push this ecosystem forward and drive real world adoption of DAOs and DeFi protocols on Cardano.
Yeah, I really like that. And what you mentioned there at the very end about the Genius X partnership is quite interesting. The fact that you guys are kind of able to feed off each other, I think is key. Now, one thing I do want to ask, and this is not on the script for today's video, but being that they're a Launchpad, right? We just saw their token sale for the Genius Yield token, right, which is the DEX. And then we recently had a token sale that was announced for the Danketsu Ninjas project. Do you guys plan on having a token sale or a governance token that you guys plan on launching using their Launchpad service?
We're not 100% sure yet. The plan or the intention has always been to have a token after we launch. I'm still kind of figuring out the mechanics of how that token is going to launch and how it will get into, just the Cardano community's hands.
Got it. But yeah, I think speaking to your greater point about all the different partnerships, I think it's really key, especially in this space, to make sure that you have solid partners, which obviously you guys do. Sounds like you guys have enough funding and you guys have enough people backing you, to really have this vision come all the way through. As you know, more than anybody, being a builder during the bear market is very, very tough. But I do think that we are getting close to, finally seeing the worst possibly being behind us. So my fingers are crossed. I'm sure you guys are going to continue to build regardless of where we are in the macro cycle, but just wanted to kind of put that out there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, let's shift gears and talk a little bit about your roadmap. So You guys have been building in this ecosystem for quite a bit of time now. Do you mind kind of speaking a little bit about what you guys were able to accomplish as a part of 2022 and some of those highlights? And then let's talk a little bit about 2023 and what you guys have envisioned and in store for this year in regards to your test net, your main net, and then I believe you guys also have an NFT collection, if you don't mind speaking a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 2022 was a cool year for us. So it's kind of the time when we officially decided to pivot from creating kind of templatized financial contracts to templatized governance smart contracts and treasury management smart contracts. So DAO infrastructure. So over the last year, we've been heads down building. We have helped out to finish Agora, which is an open source governance protocol for Cardano projects that Clarity is built on top of. This is also was Liquid helped us out a lot to build it. So shout out to them and all the work they're doing in the ecosystem. They're also one of our close friends in the ecosystem. And really, our heads down, we're building. We built out the front end of how people actually interact with these smart contracts. And currently, what we're doing is integrating the Agora smart contracts with the front end so that all the data flows through correctly and it's a great user experience. So that's kind of the focus right now with the Clarity protocol. The other things in the last year that we've accomplished include launching this kind of temperature check software. So as we started to talk to a lot of different DAO owners and different core team members of DAOs and different DAO members, we realized that the decision-making process for the governance of DAOs is complicated. So we kind of split it up into 3 different phases. So you have the refinement phase, the decision phase, and the execution phase. So the refinement phase, a lot of off-chain stuff happens here. It's when an idea is introduced and maybe there's a Twitter space where the community talks about it. Maybe there's a forum where it's being discussed. So we realized that, not only do you need this on-chain infrastructure, but you also need tools so that you can, give a temperature check for your community and enable kind of this pre-execution and decision discussion. So that's why we launched Crystal. We actually launched that. We used it internally for a few months to run like our DAO pitch competition and that type of thing. And then we opened it up to beta users on January 31st of this year. So that was a big accomplishment for us to really have a live product that a lot of projects in Cardano are utilizing and planning to utilize. And then on the NFT, yes, we do have a Clarity community NFT. And really what this does is it gets you access to exclusive content in our Discord and, special, kind of alpha from the core team in terms of announcements. And then it also gives you influence in Clarity decision-making and how the protocol develops. So for example, using our governance portal, the NFT is what gives you influence in our community, what gives you voting power. So when you hold this, we often have polls about, what feature should we build out next? What smart contract should we templatize next? Who should move on from the DAO pitch competition? These are all things that when you have the NFT, you're able to influence the decisions of. So one of the biggest things is it's kind of just a community NFT where you can help influence the future of the protocol we're building. And we think it's a pretty fun thing to do. To vote on kind of the features that we build out next. And really we're trying to build with our community. So when we have these, proposals, we want to understand, what features help DAOs the most, because that's why we exist, is to help DAOs innovate, help DAOs get off the ground, and help DAOs become successful.
Got it. I really like that. And there was a few things there that I want to kind of elaborate on there, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
So you're speaking about DAOs and the different people that you guys have kind of onboarded and the frameworks that you guys have already built. My first question to you, right, and I'm going to kind of just put these out there and you're more than welcome to respond here in just a second. Who actually needs a DAO and why, right? I think we need to kind of maybe take a step back and break that down for some users who may just be hearing about Clarity or just hearing about DAO frameworks for the very first time, right? They might be wondering, why is this even a need in this current space? That's number one. Number two, I'm also wondering, I heard you talking about Crystal and how that's kind of being used as a temperature check feature for the time being, but do you guys have a formal process to kind of take feedback from the community, and how are you guys iterating on what you guys are actually building, right? Are you guys also reaching out to the community, because in the true essence of a DAO, right, you guys should be taking feedback from all parties that are involved in using the platform, and then kind of incorporating the pieces and chunks that make the most sense to kind of build on, right? Kind of speaking as to the community's needs there. And then at the
Yeah.
very end there, I just want to add that I think we'll be getting a brief or a closer look at Crystal with you here, where you'll be sharing us a demo. So if you guys are wondering what Crystal looks like and what this actually all looks like when it's working, hang tight. Logan will be giving us a demo in just a second. So those are my two questions. Go ahead.
Awesome. Yeah. So the first question, or I'll start with the second one. So how do we collect feedback? How do we incorporate, the needs of our community into our products? So, we don't have a formal process yet. We're really experimenting a lot of different things. We really do have that, fail fast and learn mindset, with implementing features and trying things out. So one thing we do is we have proposals every now and again that ask our community, what features do you want to see next? And people are able to submit their ideas. We're able to kind of crowdsource ideas and really rely on collective intelligence from our broader community. And then also, I'll show you on the demo, but there's a little area and a little kind of thing you can fill out for feedback on our website. And it's super easy. You can put a few words, one sentence, whatever, and that's a way that you can contact the core team directly to help influence the direction of our product with feedback. And then what was the other question here?
The other question was about the DAOs. What are they and who would actually need them, and why are they practical in the space?
Yes. So, maybe using the kind of buzzword DAO isn't always the best. Really, it's a distributed community that needs to make decisions together. That's what, these products are for. So let's go through a few examples. I think it's always good to paint the picture with a few examples. So one DAO that I participate in is, it's called the Coast to Coast FC. So this is a fantasy team controlled by a DAO. So all the people in my league, fantasy league, they have an NFT that gives voting power. Then we vote on how this team makes transfers and who they captain throughout the week, each game week. So that's just like one example of a group that could use this software to make decisions. And then you have other projects like Genius X and Genius Yield. They are a DAO because they want to have their token holders, their community, influence the direction of everything they build in true kind of decentralized mentality. And then there's a lot of other projects like Charity DAO. This is a DAO of community of people that has a treasury, and they donate this treasury to different charities, and they vote on what charities they want to donate to. So I think that's a cool use case for kind of this community governance. And then there's other projects like Rats DAO. This is a group of people who invest in Cardano blue chip NFTs together, and they make treasury swaps all the time and things like that. And then there's other things like Aldea and the Latam Cardano community. These are all distributed groups of people that have kind of one overarching goal, but they're not always together. They need to have a way to make decisions. So that's kind of the types of use cases that are good for DAOs. And I could go on and on about the potential use cases for these kind of decentralized autonomous organizations. I eat, sleep, and breathe it every day. But I'll pause there, and hopefully that makes sense.
That does. And I'm actually sharing some of the Cardano projects on your DAO app, right, where we see AADA Finance, we see Aldea, as you mentioned, ASHIB, Cardano Gold. So my thing here is, correct me if I'm wrong, this DAO infrastructure is beneficial or useful to any community that just wants to bring structure to how they operate and how they manage themselves in a blockchain environment. Is that correct?
That's exactly correct. Yep.
Perfect.
Couldn't have said better myself.
Got it. Now we're seeing these DAOs here listed on the site, right? Are these live already? What? Okay, go ahead. Can you speak on that?
So yeah, so a lot of them, really what we're doing right now with a lot of these founders is we're discussing plans, because implementing governance isn't just something you just flip a switch on and it happens. You got to have kind of a good plan of what are you going to pull your community on? What do you need? Like, how can, these collective decisions be valuable to the community? And sometimes it's hard to think of things to pull your community on. So in terms of all these, I think there's like 26 DAOs on this platform right now. Some of them are just starting to, most of them are just starting to implement this tool because it just came out. And all of them are at different stages of implementing governance. So some of them, they're like, yes, we want this, or we want to use it, but we don't have a policy ID or governance token yet. So they have to build out a strategy of how they're going to mint their token, how they're going to distribute it, and how they're going to drive people to the platform so they get participation in their DAO. So some are kind of on the earlier stages there. And then there's people like Genius X, who they're about to start using the platform to pull their community. They already have a token that's distributed, and they're about to start using it to make decisions. And then there's every single DAO on here is kind of at a different stage. And it depends on which DAO, whether they're using it yet or not. But a lot of them are early in the DAOification process, so they're figuring out their strategy around governance. And we kind of hold weekly calls to help people through that and talk about what works and what doesn't work in terms of polling your community. And we really work closely with all these DAO founders to make sure that we're sharing all the information we have to help them be a successful DAO.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear that you're working so closely with them. I think in this space, especially as you guys begin to have the first kind of cohort of people onboarded, that you really work with them and identify, what are their pain points and how can we help to prevent that from occurring in future members that we begin to onboard on our platform, right?
I always like to say, as an entrepreneur, you don't really have a boss, but your bosses are your customers and your partners that you're building with. So we really take that to heart, and we're building with the people on our platform. We're not building for them, we're building with them, because that's how you make the best product possible, by understanding, what do DAOs need? What kind of features do communities need to operate more efficiently? And, I might have some ideas, but, the DAO owners also have ideas. And if we can have this collective intelligence kind of come together, we can start making better products faster and faster.
I completely agree with that. And so again, if you guys are looking to add some structure to your community, right, no matter the size, then make sure to check out the Clarity DAO. As we talked about before, this will allow for you to create a DAO in just a matter of a few clicks. You'll also be able to have the ability to have on-chain proposals, as well as leverage the Crystal platform, which we'll actually take a look at here in just a second. And then you'll also be able to manage your DAO's treasury, again, all using this single platform. Now that we've kind of talked a little bit about your roadmap and some of your highlights, let's just quickly talk about one more thing before we dive into today's demo. And so what I want to ask you about is, what are your current priorities looking like right now? What are you guys actively putting all of your time and effort into? And have you guys come across any challenges along the way?
Yeah, I think there's definitely challenges. The three things I want to highlight. The first one is a priority of ours is to build community. We're trying to become a community of DAO founders, where DAO founders come, they meet other DAO founders. We have these weekly calls, and it's very insightful to be around these people who are trying to build a successful DAO just like you, and really have that shared learnings type of mentality as a community. So that's one of our priorities, is to build community. We have weekly calls. We highlight projects in our ecosystem on our socials as much as we can, and all that good stuff. The second priority is iterating on the Crystal governance platform. So we constantly take feedback, and we have a developer that's completely dedicated to iterating on this product. We released an MVP. We know it's just the start. We're going to keep adding features based off feedback. So that's the second priority. And the third priority is getting the Clarity protocol to launch to testnet. So I mentioned this before, but really a lot of our team, what we're working on is to turn the Clarity protocol from, we have the smart contracts finished, and we have the front end finished. All we have to do right now is get the data to flow through to the front end so that we abstract out all this technical stuff. And I tell you what, when I'm looking at these screens that our developers are using, and I'm looking at the code, I'm like, wow, the fact that that is going to look like that is pretty amazing. So that is our three biggest priorities right now. And then what was the challenges? I think developing on Cardano is a challenge. And I think that's one place where the ecosystem can improve is developer tools. And so it's easier to launch apps on mainnet on Cardano. And I think it has gotten a lot easier in the last year. And I think a lot of Cardano developers would attest to that. But, it is a challenge. Cardano chose this path to use a functional programming language and use the EUTXO model, which is a different way of thinking from kind of object-oriented programming languages and that type of thing. So yeah, I would say development on Cardano is a challenge, but we've taken it head on. We have some of the best, Haskell and Plutus smart contract developers out there. So we're taking that challenge head on, and we can't wait to launch the full Clarity protocol, hopefully Q2, Q3 of this year.
I'm excited. And I just have to give you guys credit and your developers credit too, man, because I don't think a lot of people understand how important it is to have a clean front end. Right now, the front end is not the end all be all, right? But that's where people make their first impression, especially as potential DAO orchestrators using your platform, right? So if you guys are looking to draw in people, they have to obviously go to your website, which is accessible at clarity.community. But once you hit that front landing page, man, you guys have done an extremely good job of keeping everything nice, simple, neat, and concise, which I have to give you guys credit for in this space. I think a lot of people focus, like you said, on the back-end architecture and the EUTXO model, and just all of the hard work that does have to eventually go into the platform. But I think you guys have done a really good job of educating the community and, just like I said, keeping things really nice and sweet on the front page of your website. So I find it to be extremely useful and simple to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, and from my perspective, the important thing that we're really trying to accomplish with this is we're trying to bring in users to the Cardano ecosystem. So there needs to be these products that are enjoyable to use, that do really cool things on chain. So, to drive adoption of blockchain, you have to have products that, are easy to use and user friendly, and you're not having to understand Plutus to use them, and you're not having to, do all these complicated things to just accomplish a task for the user. So yeah, we're trying to abstract it out and just lower the barrier to entry to interact with the Cardano blockchain through smart contracts.
Nice. I agree with that plan. And if you guys are looking to get in contact with this team or just interact with them, I believe they do also have a dedicated Discord server, which I'll go ahead and leave the link to down in the video description. All right, Logan, we're getting up to about the 30-minute mark. So what I want to do is just take a brief break in which we're going to go ahead and set up for our demo, and then we're going to turn it over to you to show us what you guys have been building.
Awesome. Sounds good.
As we just mentioned, we are going to be taking a close look here, or a demo look at Crystal, which is going to be a platform that was just released by Logan and his team. Logan, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. So you're having a live look at the Crystal platform. This is live on our website. If you go to clarity.community and click the governance tab, or you can go to clarityboard.app and it will take you to here. So this is the DAO dashboard. You can see all these different communities that are leveraging this platform to poll their community and make collective decisions. So how it works is, if you can look up here, after I connect my wallet, my voting power is 32. So on this page, my voting power is 32 because I have 32 Clarity community NFTs. So that's kind of the default. So you can kind of see, first I'll go into the governance portal that we use internally. So we don't have any live proposals right now, but what we do have is all the proposals that we've had in the past. You can come in and see how they voted for. So for example, the Clarity DAO pitch competition. We had a DAO pitch competition where the winner got about $5,000 worth of ADA, and the winner was chosen by voting through this platform. So you can kind of click into the proposal. You can see the results of the vote. And as you can see, School DAO won the vote with 246 votes. Charity DAO was in a close second. So that's kind of what we use the governance portal for internally. Then we also have, other types of proposals, which is what features should we build out next for the governance app, which is Crystal. We recently changed the name. You can see Bounty Forum won with 69 votes. So we took this feedback in and we made a comment section. So people can leave comments here to discuss the proposals, and we really took that feature to heart. You can see that people post comments and whatnot. So that's the Clarity governance portal, but all of these other DAOs have governance portals. So I'm going to show you an example of one and how that we're able to. So if we click into the Coast to Coast FC, this is the fantasy DAO, the one that controls the fantasy team. So when you sign up for a DAO to have a governance portal, we create a custom UI for your DAO. It's free right now, no charge at all. So you can see that, for this particular DAO, my voting power is 10. So the reason it's 10 now is because for each governance portal for each DAO, it's associated with a different policy ID to give voting power. So in this example, there's an NFT in my wallet that is meant for the Coast to Coast FC to grant 10 voting power. So the cool thing about this is DAOs can have multiple policy IDs, and you can also control how much each policy ID is worth in terms of influence. So you could have a token that's one token, one vote. You could have an NFT that grants 10 voting power, and you can have multiple policy IDs that grant governance influence to your community in case you have more than one token throughout your community. So that's pretty cool. We're really excited to have DAOs start using this and start pulling their community. But just to kind of show what the custom UIs can end up looking like, I'll look at the Genius portal real quick. So this is what they'll use to kind of have temperature checks for their DAO. So you can see you really do get a custom kind of looking, and then you can link directly to it from your website, so it looks like your product. So people don't have to come to the DAO dashboard in order to access your DAO. You can have it on your website. It looks like your portal, and we got feedback that was really important to people. So that's kind of a quick overview of what the Crystal governance portal is. And I guess the last thing I'll do is explain the create proposal process, because I think that's pretty important. So how it works is this create proposal button. This is only there for the admins of the DAO or the core team. So we whitelist wallet addresses in order for them to have power to create and edit proposals on their particular governance portal. So here, if I click create a proposal, you can see it's pretty easy. I'll just do a pretty simple one. Where should we host our next event? Going to be a reward for this one. So people can submit ideas. So they're going to probably submit what cities they want the event to be in until the 19th. So we'll say tomorrow. And the voting will open on the 19th as well. And then the voting will close on the 25th. Okay. And then this option, I'll say people can submit 3 ideas. This option, so if you want to have a poll where you make as a DAO owner, you make the choices that are voted on, you can click this so other people can't create submissions to be voted on. But I'm going to leave it unclicked to kind of just show you how it is. And then you design the submission form. So we'll just say location, name, and then that's going to be a text file. We can do that. And then you click submit. You have to sign the transaction. This is completely free, but you sign the transaction just so it corresponds with some CIP standards. And then after you sign this transaction, it'll bring you back here. And what will happen is your proposal will get created and added so that anyone can come in and have a vote for your vote and create options for this proposal. So as you can see, I'm going to add a submission, and I think we should have it in Miami because I'm close to Miami. So you can submit that option. You can sign it. And then bada bing, bada boom, it's there. I can't vote for it yet because voting opens on February 19th. But you can see all the deadlines, and that's kind of how the process works and how you can poll your community. And then, you can come over here and be like, Miami is perfect for this. And you can give your thoughts. So if you want to post this, you also have to sign another transaction. But yeah, you get the idea. That's pretty much an overview of the Crystal, governance platform and how a bunch of communities are leveraging it to kind of tap into collective intelligence of their community and have these temperature checks before they go to kind of on-chain votes for decisions.
Awesome. Yeah,
And
that
yeah,
was really cool to see. And the fact that you were literally able to just create a proposal in a matter of just a few clicks, literally like it says on the front page of your website, was really cool for us to see there. Another thing that I want to add is the fact that you guys are able to support multiple policies. I think that's a really good idea there. And the fact that all of those can have different weights in terms of voting power, right? Because not everything as a part of that DAO organization may be worth the same, right? So that's really good there. I think that moving forward, that's going to be a useful tool that you guys have done or that you guys have already provided to the community. And then one other thing that I want to touch on is the fact that you showed us what appeared to be a custom look and feel for one of your DAO organizations, right? So that was really awesome to see there as well. Like if people don't want to just get, what comes out of the box, they can work with you, it sounds like, to get a custom look and feel for their actual DAO.
yeah. So if you wanted to get a custom governance portal, all you have to do is click Add Your DAO, fill out this online form. It'd probably take about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on if you have your policy ID ready and an idea of how you want to structure your governance. And then we'll spin up your custom governance portal in 24 to 48 hours, and you'll be live and ready to go. So that's how if you want a DAO portal, that's how you would go about creating it with us. So pretty much you go through the survey. Then at the end of the survey, you're able to schedule with me if you want to, if you have any special requests or anything like that, and we can sort it out and really get it going.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Now, I believe that we've got one more demo before we wrap this up. So we're going to take another brief pause and then we're going to jump into this very last demo and then we're going to let Logan go. All right, guys, we are back again with the very last demo here for today's video, which is going to be a brief review of the core DAO infrastructure. Logan, back over to you.
Awesome. Well, I'll kind of be your live voiceover for this product demo. And this is a product demo of the Clarity protocol. So this is a non-technical on-chain DAO infrastructure product, and I'm excited to tell you guys about it. So there's a kind of 3 big things you can do on Clarity. And the first one is participating in DAOs. So it's going to be a Slack type feel where you'll be able to see all the DAOs you're in, and you can click into the DAOs you're in. You can see what they're voting on, see those proposals. So in this instance, we're going to go to the Clarity DAO. You see all these different proposals. It looks like one is ready for voting. So you can click into a proposal, and then you can see how much your voting power is, how much you're staked to the DAO, and then you're able to choose an option. And after you sign that transaction, it actually sends that vote to the chain to be accounted for. And the next thing you can do is create a DAO, which is pretty sweet. So right now we're putting in off-chain information so you're easily discoverable on the Clarity DAO platform so that people can find your socials, get involved in your DAO, read about your DAO. And then the real magic starts to happen when you start customizing the governance rules of your DAO. So here you can kind of centralize your DAO if you want to. So feedback we got was that, the DAOification process is truly a process. So at first you may not want to be completely decentralized. So here is kind of options where you can gate on the front end who is able to create proposals, who's able to co-sign proposals. If you want to make sure that, only core team members are creating proposals at this point because you're kind of still figuring out the DAOification process. But this is made transparent to everyone that's part of the DAO. And then here, it's actually really cool. So this is where you can customize the smart contract that governs your DAO. So really, you're building a smart contract when you fill out this form. You can put in the policy ID of your governance asset, and then you're able to say, okay, if you want to be able to have a proposal, if you want to have the power to create a proposal in this DAO, this is how much of this governance token you have to have in your wallet. The amount of governance token that needs to co-sign a DAO or co-sign a proposal for it to go from draft phase to voting phase, how much is that? And then X amount of tokens must approve a proposal for it to be passed and affect the treasury of the DAO. So this is one of those templatized smart contracts where we're trying to make it super easy. And then this is also a templatized smart contract where you're controlling the time length of your proposal process. So how long is the draft phase, how long the voting phase, etc. And then after you click submit and sign that transaction, you will be able to, or that will send your organization on chain. And it's that easy to create an on-chain DAO. Then this is creating a proposal. So here you can see we kind of have a drop-down menu of different smart contract templates that you'll be able to use for your DAO. So right here, you see spend treasury funds, update governance parameters. And then the cool thing about the Clarity protocol and Agora is that after a vote passes, anything that can be expressed by Plutus in a smart contract can be run. So you could have a spend treasury funds proposal template. You could have a treasury swap proposal template. You could have a proposal template where it goes from the treasury to an escrow account to 4 different wallet addresses. So what we're going to do is actually make this a smart contract marketplace where anyone is able to contribute to this drop list of kind of DAO treasury effects. And then when the developer of the smart contract, when a DAO uses it, they actually get a cut of the action and can make money in this way. So we think that's a pretty cool feature we're building out. That's going to take some time to figure out how exactly that works to make sure that all of the templates are audited and legit. So we'll kind of figure that out as we go, but we're excited about that. So what it looks like, say you wanted to make a proposal. This is an on-chain proposal. You can click spend treasury funds. You can click next. And then you're able to type in, just fill out these forms. And then after you fill out the form with the correct information, it sends this proposal as an on-chain proposal to the rest of your DAO to co-sign to see if enough people co-sign it so it can go to an on-chain vote and actually execute if it gets approved based off the governance thresholds that you submitted when you created your DAO. That's about it. That's kind of an overview of this platform. And we're really, really, really excited to bring this to all these projects because what we saw is that there's tools like this on Ethereum, there's tools like this on other blockchain ecosystems, but it's lacking on Cardano, despite the fact that Cardano has so many awesome communities that want to operate on chain. So we're really excited to bring this to market.
Thank you so much for the wonderful demos there, Logan. Let's take one last break. We're going to get your closing thoughts and then we're going to wrap up today's interview. I hope you guys were able to enjoy both of those demos there, again, by Logan, as much as I did. I definitely found those to be extremely useful. Now, before we close out this video, I just want to get 2 things from you, Logan. First is going to be a little bit of clarification as to where things stand right now. Now, you just gave us 2 demos, right, of the core DAO infrastructure as well as Clarity. Do you mind identifying where those are at right now, what's available for the community, what can they start playing with, and what is actually going to be upcoming? And then we're going to get your closing thoughts as to where you see Clarity DAO going and what your future plans and vision are for this project.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first part is where things are right now. So the Crystal app, it's live. If you want a governance portal, you can sign up. If you want to participate in DAOs, you can go in there and participate in DAOs. If you want to be involved in the conversations of how this product evolves, you can join our community, come to our weekly calls. So that's really cool. And we're glad to have kind of a working product out there that we can build with the community. In terms of the on-chain infrastructure, so the Clarity protocol, that is, we are working really hard kind of in the final stages of the integration of the data coming from the blockchain to the front end and being displayed in a nice way. So it's a good user experience. So as soon as we figure out kind of that integration and that user experience, we'll be releasing that on testnet. I'm weary to give, timelines because development on Cardano is difficult and there's always challenges that come up, but we're hoping to have that out by, the end of Q2 and Q3. Hopefully sooner if light bulbs go off, but definitely by the end of the year. So that's our goals. And, like I said, there is unforeseen challenges that can pop up, but we are working super hard to get this out to everyone.
Understood. And I like that. Again, if you guys want to check them out, head over to their official website, which is at clarity.community. In closing, what is your future vision and where do you see Clarity going in the next quarter, year, 5 years, and how it's just going to work overall?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think DAOs are going to be a huge part of how human society innovates and organizes in the future. And I just think Clarity is going to have a big part of that because, there's a bunch of real world use cases we're looking at. There's so many cool projects in Cardano that are already leveraging our products. And we really just want to be kind of a decentralized protocol that helps people start, Web3 companies and implement governance into their Web3 projects. So it's hard to say exactly where we're going and what we'll be, but I know we'll be around for a while, and we're going to be pushing the boundaries in terms of being on pioneers and on the forefront of decentralized governance and how it comes into the real world.
I'm excited to hear that. And if that does pan out, then I'll get a little bit of credit for this interview in the future.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much for having me on, and giving us a platform to share what we've been working so hard on. It's people like you in the Cardano community, and why I believe it so much, because we're all trying to help each other out. And I really appreciate you letting Clarity use your platform to try to get the word out.
Not a problem. And I also want to thank you. You're an awesome speaker, and I actually learned a lot along this process too. So I do look forward to continue to cover your project here, and it's giving the community updates as to what you guys are actually building out here in the near future. And obviously, as you know, a lot of these core pieces come out, I would definitely be doing additional tutorials, just again educating the community as to what tools are available if they have their own community that they're trying to do a better job of structuring and managing using a DAO infrastructure. So having said that, again, you guys, this is going to be Logan Poncho with the official Clarity DAO team. If you guys want to find out more about what they're building, check out the description down below. I'm going to have the links to how you guys can get in contact with him and his entire community. And if you guys want to actually begin to just kind of look at things for yourselves, again, head over to their website, which is at clarity.community. Logan, any last thoughts as to how people can get in contact with you before we wrap this up?
Let's keep building. And you can get in contact with us in our Discord, always in there, Twitter, clarity_DAO. You can come to our website. You can shoot us an email. But I would say the best way to get in contact is either Twitter DMs or hopping in the Discord, joining our community. And the best way to get involved with Clarity is to come to one of our weekly calls. They happen on Friday, normally around 10 to 11 o'clock Eastern. And it's just a bunch of DAO founders that hop on, chat, and discuss how we can make each other successful and collaborate.
That's it. You heard it from the man himself. Again, thank you very much for your time. I hope that you viewers found this to be helpful. If you did, then you know what to do. Tap that like button. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions for me or Logan as to what the Clarity DAO team is doing, then make sure to leave a comment down below and we'll make sure to get those answered for you guys. Again, Logan, thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.